Hello, and welcome to the November edition of the Cinetopia radio show and podcast. I'm Amanda, and this month I'm joined by two of our super film knowledgeable Cinetopia contributors, Emma and Mariana, for a packed episode of reviews and interviews. We're starting with Jay Kelly, Noah Baumbach and Emily Mortimer's new Hollywood character story starring George Clooney. Then we dive into Edgar Wright's adrenaline-fueled The Running Man, Yorgos Lanthimos' wonderfully deranged Bugonia, and then Rian Johnson's latest Benoit Blanc mystery, Wake Up Dead Man. We've also got two fantastic interviews for you. Veronica Buccino spoke to Yi Wang, director of the Queer East Film Festival, and we hear from Richard Mowe, director of the French Film Festival UK, about the festival's history and its 2025 highlights. All of that is coming up on this episode, so stay tuned. There's a lot to get into. As always, don't forget to check out Cinetopia Recommends, our weekly newsletter highlighting film events, opportunities, and screenings across Scotland, and Cinetopia Connect, our new free digital platform. You'll not only find our upcoming events there, but also opportunities and happenings from other local organizations across the film community, all gathered in one place. Welcome to the November edition of the Cinetopia radio show and podcast. I'm Amanda, your host, and I'm here with a regular and a new contributor to the show. So we're here back with Emma, Emma, how are you doing?
I am pretty good, despite the miserable weather. I'm starting to feel festive. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but my mood is getting there, which is good. So yeah, pretty chipper.
I think in the UK you're allowed to be into Christmas right after Halloween, aren't you?
That's my rule anyway. So
the US right now, this week, as we're speaking, are eating a lot of food together. But yes, and we're also here with Mariana. Mariana, how are you? And nice to have you on the team. And if you just want to tell us a little bit about your interest in film.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, Emma. Nice to meet you and nice to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Mariana. I am a big fan of movies, which is a bit redundant to say in a movie podcast thing. I have a master's degree in film studies. I try to engage with film even though I don't work with film full time. I write film reviews on my very, very, very popular Substack that has a whole 6 subscribers, so it's very exciting. And yeah, just very excited to talk about movies at any opportunity that I have.
Great. And you'll have a 7th after this, but what's the name of your Substack?
So it's under my Substack handle, which is Mars D E E, and it's my regular handle, which is Too Many DVDs, which is a descriptor of my life.
Oh, I love it already.
Yeah. Well, it's great. It's great to have you on board. And yes, we're really looking forward to talking about a whole bunch of films. I feel like a lot of films are coming out this week and we're missing, being able to talk about them. But there's quite a lot of films that have been out and we're going to talk about some of the big ones on the show. So let's get going.
I don't want to be here anymore, Jerry. I want to leave the party.
Jay Kelly, so handsome. Look at you. You're the American dream. The last of the old movie stars.
I'm down here.
You're up there, you're down here, you're in here. We did this together.
See you, Dad. I'm leaving on Saturday for Paris.
This is your last summer. It'll be so lonely here without you.
No, it won't. You're never alone.
Really? I think I'm always alone. Thanks, Emma. Thinking about her leaving, I feel like I missed it.
We need you now. Jay's having a nervous breakdown. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Jay, where are we going?
Meg, where are we going?
France.
France.
France?
Stars,
Is that Jay Kelly?
they come and go. They come fast, they come slow.
When I look at you, I see my whole life.
They go like the last light of the sun.
I don't know who to be mad at, but I'm finding myself being very mad at you, Ron.
Be mad at me, Liz. The train was my idea.
That's the problem. I'm not allowed to be mad at you.
All you see is glory.
Lately, I feel like my life doesn't really feel real. Suddenly remembering things. And what is that? Memory? That's like a movie where I'm playing myself.
First up is Jake Kelly, which is currently out in cinemas in the UK, but is a Netflix. We saw it at, some of us saw it at the London Film Festival, and Emma, who is absolutely obsessed with Noah Baumbach, will tell us about this film, and then we'll debate whether or not it's one of his best or not.
Accurate descriptor. Yes, so very excited to have Noah Baumbach back on the big screen. And Jay Kelly, I think I'll caveat, he came out on a high with Marriage Story, Oscar nominations, and then it all kind of fell apart with White Noise straight after, which I think most people would agree was a slump after Marriage Story. So I went into Jay Kelly with a bit of trepidation, but we'll get into it. But essentially continuing the Noah Baumbach theme of middle-aged men having middle life crises and questioning their lives, and also being just slightly neurotic and surrounded by other neurotic people. This is very much on brand Noah Baumbach. It's very lavish setup. This is a story about a Hollywood actor, so the scenery is very lavish, as befits that. George Clooney is obviously the absolute, platonic ideal of the Hollywood actor, and obviously plays the lead. And it's about a man reflecting on his life and his career and his choices, good or bad. And from the perspective of an actor, where does the line blur between my real life and my Hollywood persona, and the persona I put on to deal with being a Hollywood persona. So it's a sort of three-facet examination of a life. But yes, I would say packed with neuroses and the standard Noah Baumbach, slightly quirky characters that surround and gravitate around George Clooney's Jay Kelly, who is obviously the lead of the show. And I liked it. I loved the film. Was it one of his best? I don't know, but I came out pleasantly surprised because I was a bit nervous that I wouldn't like.
I like Noah Baumbach as well. Like you said, I love a bit of neurosis in films. I'm a big fan of George Clooney. I think he's a fantastic actor, and I'm much more lukewarm on Adam Sandler. I'm not a fan of his more dramatic outputs, but I did like him in this, which was really exciting for me personally because I was dreading him being so much in it. I wasn't a huge fan of this film, frankly, just because I felt like it would have been such a good Coen Brothers movie as I was watching it. And I was like, the pacing felt too slow. It's like if the Coens had directed it, it would have been really, really moving really fast. Because I love Hail Caesar, and it felt like that kind of world. It felt like it would be perfect in it. And I don't know, like there was something about it that didn't quite click. And maybe it's because I don't care about actors, and I find A-listers' problems to be irritating to look like, oh, woe is me, kind of that energy that I'm kind of so sick of right now, like in this current political climate and this world that we're living in. It's like, do I care about how sad this white man is about his own life? But it was fine. Like I enjoyed it well enough, and I thought it got better as it went along. When they got to Italy, it got more interesting and a little bit less kind of like self-pitying in a way. I did like most of it. I enjoyed it well enough, and it was definitely not my favorite Baumbach. I actually did like White Noise more because I love Adam Driver, and it's so weird, such a weird movie, and I love that. But
we stan Adam Driver in this house, and I liked White Noise a lot.
Yeah. So I think I've enjoyed more Noah Baumbach movies.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Maybe I'm also kind of like resentful of Greta Gerwig's presence because I still hate Barbie so much, and I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah, I don't like Barbie, and I got annoyed at her for making it, and I'm like, every time I look at her, I'm like, why'd you make that?
Oh, well, we have to discuss this afterwards, but that would be
We'll
because
circle back to my Barbie hatred.
yeah, But it's okay because I have my own I have my own people who I hate or films I hate but everyone loves. So it's perfectly fine and I'm very curious about that. But yes, I would say that we're all three of us seem to be Noah fans. I'm particularly a Noah and Greta fan, and we also did kind of fangirl the heck out of this red carpet. So I would say I'm a bigger Noah and Greta fan than I am a Adam Sandler and George Clooney fan, but found it quite amusing that the people around us who were in the, in the fan sort of circle that were, watching the red carpet were really obsessed. Also, younger people were really obsessed with Adam Sandler. We were like,
Oh my God.
what is this?
All these Gen Zers like knew all of his movies. I was like, what?
The Uncut Gems fandom.
Yeah,
Very,
it was
right.
so funny.
Yeah, we were asking that question. But on all of those fronts, I think everybody in this film does a really great job playing their part. So Adam playing the manager and sort of the relationship between, the giving your life over to this one big sort of presence. George Clooney, basically, as you said, playing himself. He's just playing a really, really, really famous person who has to grapple with this. I mean, I suppose he's wouldn't want to be considered as selfish as the Jake Kelly character, but overall all of those things kind of worked well. For me, I don't think it was the best film he's ever made, but I think those sort of core, I think I would go back to the period when he was co-writing with Greta Gerwig, when those are some of my favorites, or some of the original sort of dark Brooklyn Squid and the Whale stuff, which when they came out, a lot of my friends hated, but I loved. But I do think it was charming, and I think it was obviously really pretty and enjoyable to follow, to be in Italy. I also feel like it's like Noah kind of following where he is in life. And also it is important to say that this is, I believe, co-written by Emily Mortimer, who is also obviously had quite a lot of experience working in the industry for so long, so that they get the jokes, they get the Hollywood life that we sort of got to watch a bit, but maybe none of us have really experienced. So I happen to enjoy those kinds of films, so I didn't mind it. I would say though that for me the flashback scenes I found just a little irritating, and they were really important because they expressed very important parts of his life, and they were, I get the narrative structure of that, but I just found them, I just wouldn't, I didn't expect them in a Noah Baumbach film. Like, I guess maybe because I'm sort of used to his dry, sort of neurotic, sort of Brooklyn, New York kind of vibe, and I just felt this was maybe perhaps a little too on the nose classic sort of way of trying to get back into that. But I didn't hate it, I just didn't love it. And I would also say, yeah, I love kind of get annoyed with Noah sometimes, because there are these references of very famous films like Bergman and Fellini, and like I've even heard people say Altman. So there's all these things where obviously he's named his kid Romer. So it's very like there's so much in there that is, it's very meta for film.
Yeah.
And so while I appreciate it, and I appreciate that he knows so much about film and can make this story, and so does Emily, it sometimes can be slightly irritating when you see those things.
Yeah. The thing, I don't know if what you two feel, but all of his films have a humor to them. That's, it's that sort of neurotic humor, but it's usually quite bittersweet and slightly sad humor, like very depressing humor. I found a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film that I've not usually associated with his films, and most of it for me came from the secondary, like I thought his secondary characters were so strong in this,
Yeah.
and probably more interesting than Jay Kelly. Like Laura Dern was such a biatch, but like such scathing comebacks. She was such a brilliant, like I could completely believe her as the publicist. And that Lars Erdinger's bizarre 4-minute appearance in spandex, which will haunt me for the rest of my life, but it actually very, very funny. And shout out also to Billy Crudup for that 8-minute monologue, which is I think the best bit of acting in the whole film, like, it's outstanding to hold the screen for that long, and for the sort of 360-degree turn in his monologue, which I didn't quite expect, and I thought that was brilliant. So it was all the little characters playing around J. Kelly that I actually thought gave real substance to the film. But yeah, not Marriage Story, but it's still good.
Yeah, I felt very similarly. I love Billy Crudup just generally, and he's so good in this. His wig is very distracting, though. The weird Backstreet Boys blonde wig that I did not vibe with, but overall, like, he's so good. And Patrick Wilson's little crying Italian garden moment, so funny. Yeah, lots of really, really fun secondary characters that, again, I felt like would be perfect in a Coen Brothers movie. Just something about the humor, and I agree. Like, there's something very like caustic and like a little bit sardonic about Noah Baumbach movies, almost like an extension of those Woody Allen movies from like the 70s.
Yeah.
Like updating them to the modern era, and they're so fun because they're so dark. And I feel like the schmaltz in this kind of brought the humor down for me because I was expecting it to be a little bit more acerbic, and it ended up being a little bit too sweet. Especially with the daughters. Like, the young daughter, she was a little bit too much of like a middle-aged man's idea of a cool 19-year-old girl, rather than a real teenager. And but Riley Keough, is that how you pronounce her name? I can never know how to pronounce her name. She's amazing. She's always amazing. And like, I want more of her. Can I see more of this woman who quit being an actor and is like a primary school teacher, and she hates her dad, and she's really cool? Yeah, there's a lot of really great secondary characters, and they're the best part about this movie for sure. Although I do love George Clooney again. He's great, and I could watch him read a laundry list. He's so good.
Yeah. But maybe it is when you were saying that, maybe it is his charmingness that sort of makes it not as acerbic. Like, the people around, like Laura Dern, as you said, I love Laura Dern. I loved her in Marriage Story. I love her in almost everything. Billy Crudup is great in this. I think that point that you said, that monologue, was something shocked us all. And there's a bit of this which is working in the loop sort of Iannucci kind of style of a take on Hollywood. But then everything you're saying about the schmaltziness, and I even heard some people talk about the score. I can't really remember the score, but like, it's just not fitting with the tone that you're expecting, something to be more dark comedy, which you would get from, the person who took over the Woody Allen sort of type of film, which is clearly what Noah Baumbach sort of represents, for sure. Also, again, like, I just think he's sort of aging into that period. I do think Billy Crudup's hair, though, I thought he was playing Noah Baumbach, because I thought he was trying to look like Noah Baumbach in this. I was like, that wig is so.
How do you say it? Yeah.
Noah. No, you're right.
Maybe that's
the
why
blonde took away the Noah from me, but yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe that's why they gave him the great monologue, like, it's like, putting himself in it. But I don't know. But yeah, overall, like, did I have a great time with this? Yeah, I did. Like, it was fun. It was bringing me back into appreciation of Noah, and Netflix not ruining it for me, which it often does with great directors. But yeah, mixed issues here, and I think we all have our fair criticisms on the film, but it will be on Netflix, and and it is in cinemas right now, so you can check it out if you like.
And go see it in the cinema, because it's Nicholas Britell did the score, which is crazy. Nicholas Britell did the score, which is crazy.
Yeah,
it's very not memorable at all, like you said. So I was expecting it to be someone random, but there you go.
It's the biggest show in the country. Bloodlust is our birthright. Set it free. Welcome to the Running Man.
People on these games never come back.
I'm not trying to get myself killed, so kiss my ass twice.
Right there is why you can win this game.
The rules are simple. Survive 30 days with the entire nation hunting you down. We'll get your family out of Slumside for good.
I'm gonna come back here and burn this building down. I promise.
That's the spirit.
This is America, goddammit! And we don't put up with no bullshit! Yes! Hunt him down!
Okay, so the next film we're going to review is currently out in many cinemas, and it's called Running Man, and Mariana's going to tell us about the film.
Yeah, The Running Man is a remake of, I guess is a remake, as in they're making again an adaptation of a Stephen King novella. I guess it's a novel, but it's 300 pages, so it's a novella for Stephen King of the same name. And it's about a man named Ben who is very poor. They live in like a dystopic society where the corporations and the news and all that, media corporations own everything, so everyone's really poor. And he, in order to feed his family and to take care of his sick daughter, he ends up joining this game show called The Running Man, where people are running literally for their lives for money. And he and two other people are running, and he's the titular running man. He runs, and he's a man. There he goes. Glenn Powell, the Running Man. Edgar Wright, coming back from his last film was Last Night in Soho, right? So it's his epic return to the big screen. And yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. Did not expect it to like. I went in fully thinking I'm gonna hate this because I didn't like Baby Driver, and I didn't like Last Night in Soho, and I don't like Stephen King. But after the first 40 minutes, which are admittedly quite a bit of a slog, the rest of it, once it got going, it got really fun. And Glenn Powell, he really is very charismatic. And as soon as that brisket cameo came, I was very happy. There's a brisket cameo. It's very exciting. I was thrilled. I was like that Leo DiCaprio meme pointing at the screen, like, oh my god, it's brisket.
That's the only thing I need to know about this film, and I will buy a ticket.
It's great. It's iconic.
We should probably clarify for people listening who maybe aren't complete Glenn Powell obsessed fans.
His dog.
Glenn Powell's dog. He is not carrying a brisket around in running.
Honestly, I didn't know when you said that, and I was thinking it was some sort of euphemism.
We're not just talking about a big hunk of meat. It is, in fact, his little dog.
The little dog brisket, hot brisket on Instagram. Very cute dog, and he apparently got his own Running Man jumpsuit from the crew. Very cute. So he's a star. Good.
And also just very small towel.
Yes, teeny tiny, basically a face towel, really.
On the dog or on Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell, Mr. Powell. Yeah.
Buenos dias. I'm
shredded. I did not realize that he was so shredded. I was like, damn, look at him. And yeah, it was great. It was a really fun time. Surprising and action-packed, and lots of Glasgow, which was only a little bit distracting. The Glasgow bus station is very recognizable. But yeah, I had a great time.
So I totally forgot this was, firstly, I forgot it was an Edgar Wright film until I think halfway through. Second, I forgot it was filmed in Glasgow, which I guess it was. A lot of it, was it? Yeah, okay. This makes a lot of sense now. But I would say that, I think I basically agree with you, other than I think I was a little more annoyed at the beginning. But when you say it's a slog for the first 40 minutes, in the first 5 to 10 minutes, I was like, why are all these actors in this film? You know, it's the worst 15 minutes I've ever seen at the beginning of a film. Like, the exposition of this film was, I really, it's one of those moments where you're like, I think this is supposed to be like a movie which has a stupid movie at the beginning of it. Like Jake Kelly kind of had like the stupid, the movie that he's playing in, so that it's the movie that he's playing in. and then but it actually was the movie. And so when I realized it was the movie and that was like the exposition of why he was going to join the money man, I was completely annoyed and took a slight break and then came back, and then I was in the movie. So I must have missed like a 5 minutes or something like that. I mean, I literally did leave the cinema for a moment, came back, and then it was moving, like you said, it was moving. It was an action movie, and I was getting into all those things. I do think the thing, and we'll be talking about another movie about dystopian worlds, but like right now, there's something about this film that is quite like present. So this idea of like AI and and sort of manipulating what people think, how a world where there's basically a totalitarian regime and media controlling your thoughts. I mean, if this was an 80s book, it works right now, and right now for what the world is. And I think it's supposed to take place this year. Isn't that the thing? Isn't it like in the 80s it was supposed to take place in 2025?
The book is set this year, which is
Yeah.
terrible. But I think the actual film is set in the future of.
Oh, right. Okay, so the book was supposed to, but so maybe on that timing.
It feels very present. It's scary how like it's very good social commentary and political commentary. Surprising actually, because I wouldn't necessarily think of Edgar Wright as someone who's so willing to do something so politically engaged. And also it's released by Paramount, which is like, did they not watch it before they release it? Because it feels like it's against everything they stand for right now, which is hilarious.
Totally fair.
But yeah, it's very political. It's very aggressively anti AI and anti the horrible media totalitarianism that we live in right now, which is also a thing I really liked about it, because it felt like it was a movie that was standing for something rather than just something bland.
Yeah, and as you said, I think Glenn Powell does carry it. I think there's Coleman Domingo in the film as well, who is fantastic. So this is, and then Michael Cera, who comes back in his, Edgar Wright sort of. So all of this is where I was like, why are all these people? I mean, I don't think I didn't see Michael Cera until later, but like, why are all these actors attached to this film within the first 15 minutes? But then it really it catches itself back up and it works. So if I was exec producer, I would have been like, cut and fix this. And I even think I heard Mark Kermode say how it was $100 million that I guess they spent, but it looks like it spent so much more money on it. And I didn't really feel that. But then when it's an Edgar Wright film, I feel like it then brings me back to this like early Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, okay, all right. Then I'm totally going to see what kind of film this is, where maybe I walked into this thinking it is a Schwarzenegger sort of, which is, the original, like it is supposed to be this like complete, and it just, that energy was not there in the first 10 minutes for me.
Well, I felt like they probably cut a lot more of that from the back end of the film. Like, having read some Stephen King, I reckon that all the exposition is from the book, and because the characters talk so much about what's happening, and they're like, we can't cut everything out, like we can't cut all of it out. So they kept it in the beginning, so at least you have that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna begrudge them for keeping some exposition, although I wish they could have just cut all of it out, especially that first scene, which was awful. But once they kind of stop doing that, it becomes a lot more engaging, and then it becomes a little bit more wacky as well, which is fun because that's Edgar Wright's kind of bread and butter. And I can tell where they spend all the money, which is the production design is incredible. And like what they did to those backgrounds, like it's not Glasgow, it's not London. You can tell it's shot there because like if you've ever been to Glasgow, if you've ever been to London, that's Wembley Stadium and that's Glasgow bus station. But they did a really good job at making it not look like that. So I really respect that. Like that looks incredible, and I was a little bit distracted because I recognized it, but that's just because you've been to a place so many times, you kind of can't not see it when you look at it. But I had a great time, and I thought it looked really good. And again, if you ignore the first 40 minutes, which are a slog, and the first 40 minutes, which are terrible, It's a solid film. I'm very surprised that I enjoyed it so much because I was fully expecting I'm gonna hate this. But yeah.
I have a question because I've not seen it. And obviously, Edgar Wright, music is everything.
Yeah.
How's the music in this? Is it absolutely banging? Is it
Yeah.
Edgar Wright quality soundtrack?
Great needle drops. Really fun.
Awesome.
At least I remember. The ones I remember are really good. Obscure stuff, obviously, nothing I know from, it's like proper music nerd stuff, so I don't know any of it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. You said 40, I said 15, but I missed 5 in there, so I'm with you.
That was somewhere.
I came back and was happily surprised. And I would say it is a fun film to watch in the cinema. So yeah, maybe if you're a little late, it's not too big of a deal. So
It's the beginning. It's fine. Get your popcorn to the bath.
Exactly. That was it. I was waiting. I was gonna wait in line for the popcorn, but it was like too long because Wicked was coming out. So then I was like, forget it. Like I'll skip the popcorn. I'll skip the Diet Coke, and then I got the 15 minutes in. I was like, I should have gotten the popcorn.
Deserve the popcorn, and well, now you can go and get the popcorn after the 15 minutes.
Yeah, note to everyone who's going to cinema, just wait in the long line for the popcorn and get it. And then, yeah, if you miss the first 15 minutes, don't you worry.
Watch the Pillion trailer, then go get your popcorn.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Good plan. All right. So that is The Running Man, and it is out in cinemas currently.
Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Michelle.
I believe every company should strive to form a diverse table, to empower people of different skills, and every time, what is it?
Skills and identities.
To foster a new generation of, okay, let's go again.
They want you to think it's you, that it's you who made this world. But it's always been them. All we've lost, all that's been done to us, we're setting that right again. Greetings. Welcome to the headquarters of the human resistance.
Where's my hair?
Your hair has been destroyed to prevent you from contacting your ship.
What ship?
Your mothership?
Okay.
So the next film we're going to review is Yorgos Lanthimos' latest film, starring Emma Stone, as always, Bugonia, and also Jesse Plemons. And it is, his latest wild sci-fi conspiracy thriller comedy. It is a remake of the 2003 Korean cult film Save the Green Planet, which supposedly was going to be made by the original director, but then Ari Aster had picked it up and then gave it to Yorgos Lanthimos. And the story centers around Michelle Fuller, played by Emma Stone, a high-powered pharmaceutical CEO who is kidnapped by 2 young men convinced she's not human, but actually an alien overlord plotting humanity's extinction. And so they imprison her in a basement, interrogate her, and try to force out negotiations that she finally admits. At some point, Jesse Plemons, who plays the main kidnapper, does believe that she's the head queen alien, and things get even more weirder here and there and whatnot. But also, it is important to note that Jesse Plemons' mother, who is played by Alicia Silverstone, is currently in a coma and a sort of revolved around the pharmaceutical company's activity. So there's some sort of like personal trauma as well in this. It's very, very dark and Yorgos Lanthimos. It brings me back to some of the original Yorgos Lanthimos, like Dogtooth and stuff that made me kind of really enjoy Yorgos Lanthimos, but also you have to be prepared for such. I'd like to know what you guys think.
Oh dear. God, I got tired by this film. I didn't hate it, don't get me wrong. And I like the timeliness of it and the conspiracy theory satire on current society. Very clever. no one can argue the quality of the cast. I mean, Emma Stone's great. Jesse Plemons is an outstanding actor, and he's absolutely batshit in this. And there's a lot going on that, in their own elements, I enjoyed, but put together over 2.5 well, it felt like 2.5 hours to me. Maybe it wasn't that long. I just got a bit sort of meh. And I can do body horror, and I can do blood and guts, and I can do wild and wacky. I do not have a problem with that. In fact, I very often enjoy it. This just, I don't know where it lost me, but I felt like I was outside looking in instead of being really in the story. Whereas when I watched something like The Substance, I felt like I was like, it spoke to me. I was in it for the ride. I was completely invested. Whereas this one, I just felt like I was observing something, and I wasn't really, I was detached from it. I don't know why, but that was my feeling. I can't place what the fault was for me to feel that way, but I just didn't get into it. And then it just felt like it went on and on and on. I was like,
I really liked it. I was like, I love me some Yorgos, and I have all the time for all kinds of weird stuff, always. And I'm really like, I'm not a huge fan of his Greek movies as much as I it's rare for me. I normally prefer directors who work on their original language. Like, I prefer Korean Bong Joon-ho, and I prefer Japanese Koreeda. But for Yorgos, I really like his English language films, and this like comes back. It feels like it comes back to stuff like The Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster, which I really like. But it's also got that weirdness and that kind of like these odd people, like they are in Dogtooth and Alps. And it's very strange, and the people speak very weirdly. And I really, really liked that. It felt really alien, which I think is probably, it probably does feel a bit alienating. And I think I mean, I got the feeling that you're supposed to feel a bit alienated from the film.
yeah, quite probably, yeah.
But I thought it was so fun. It was so silly, but also really depressing and like really upsetting, and really striking, and like just some people being bumbling idiots, and like the little worker bees in the colony of the big pharma, and you know yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a great time, and then the ending is, I loved it. I know that's a controversial, people either hate or love the ending, but I loved it. I thought it was really funny. Yeah, I had a great time. It's probably one of my favorite films of the year, actually.
I was surprisingly enjoyed it more than I thought I was, because I've had I'm not a huge Yorgos fan. I did like his original sort of like his original films in English that I saw, and because it was unique and different, and sort of, but I was starting to fade with Poor Things, to be honest, which everyone loved, and I really disliked The Kinds of Kindness, and I'm getting sick of the like Emma Stone Muse thing. Like, I have to see it every time, every like Venice, like he's going to use the same people and Jesse Plemons. But this one just, and I think maybe again, this dystopian sort of spot on in this world, with his flair, where some of those other films are definitely within different worlds and different times and different, The Favorite is, in the past, if you will, this was taking on a modern sort of thing. And again, maybe I think too, with Ari Aster sort of being the one picking this up, if you looked at Eddington, there is this very obsession with the conspiracy world of and it does, and Jesse Plemons does that really, really well, and really scarily, but really spot on, and yet it's so otherworldly, as you're saying, Mariana, like this, it is so strange and world, like it's a Yorgos world, which even any one of those other films you mentioned feel like they're a very, very strange world. So overall I was more impressed than I thought I would be. I don't know if I found it funny, but it was definitely gross, and it was interesting, and I called it. I'm gonna say no spoilers, but I called it.
You did call it. You called it really early as well.
I was like, it has to end this way.
But we were laughing. You and I laughed out loud the whole way through, which
Oh, really?
was yeah. I think it was more
forgot.
laughing from the surprise grossness.
Mm.
It was like sort of giggly because it was so absurdly gross in all the right ways. Like it was like being a kid and laughing at like goo and squelchy stuff. It was like, but we did laugh a lot. Like I did find it very funny.
I can't
You know,
remember what I laughed at or turned my eyes away from, but I know I was looking the other way a lot of the time. But I guess I was laughing in uncomfortableness of, breaking bones and blood and,
I think
Yeah.
that Yorgos has a very magical touch with knowing how to make you feel so uncomfortable, but also very like it startles you into laughter, but like in a good way. Like I won't spoil the needle drop, but there's like a moment where there's like a really funny needle drop and like a really harrowing, horrible thing happens, and you're like, I think it's hilarious this song is playing right now, but there's horrible things happening and I don't know how to feel. And I think that's the intention that he's
Yeah.
trying to get from you, which I really enjoy getting to like it's like you get it. It's like you're kind of in a communion with the director where he's giving you something and you're just like understanding it. It's like the opposite of when you go to the cinema to see something that's really sad, but you're watching it with a bunch of people who are brain rotted into like finding everything that's everything ironically hilarious, and you're just like everyone's laughing with discomfort, but they're not actually thinking it's funny. They're just like, I don't know how to feel emotion, so I'm gonna laugh at this really sad film. Like it's the opposite of that, where the director wants you to laugh because it is ridiculous and it is horrible. And I really, really enjoyed that. I really like getting like these really conflicting emotions, and it's really kind of, I don't know, it's really exciting to have so much weirdness on a mainstream release in a film with big stars. It's like that's great. It's so crazy. You know.
Yeah. On the other hand, I feel like I've seen so many films with so many famous stars doing so many weird things lately that
It's
like
mainstream now, unfortunately.
my whole perception of reality is like very, and also with the world as it is like is gone to a point where I'm like, this world is weird, and we have Yorgos to help us through, I suppose.
He's distilling the weirdness into a film about bees.
Yeah. And it is, yeah, I mean it's great. It's very well shot. I think it's his normal cinematographer who I love from The Favorite. And it's a really it is a ride. It is a ride. It is, and you don't know where it's going and then it goes somewhere. So it's Bugonia, and it's Emma and Yorgos on screen or together as a duo again. So if you like that kind of film, please check it out.
Go see it, maybe.
This murder was dressed as a miracle. But what happened that night is a much, much larger scheme. To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed. A man gives a sermon. He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead. A classic, impossible crime.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
This is a holy mystery. Unsolvable.
Holy shit. Sorry.
All right. And so the final film we're going to review is Wake Up Dead Man, which is a Knives Out mystery. It's coming out in cinemas this week. So it's the final of the trilogy. And Emma, who has seen all of the trilogy, is going to tell us about this film.
Yes. So this is number 3, and I know that there's such a cult around the Knives Out series, and they've kind of become cult movies, the first one in particular. And I personally feel that of the three, this one is the strongest, which I think is really unusual in a franchise series. They're all good, they're all fun, but this one to me just, I don't know, was superior for many reasons. Um, for anyone who doesn't know, the Knives Out series of films are detective films centered around Detective Benoit Blanc, who's played with this sort of ham Southern he's from the deep South and he always wears a silly hat or has terrible hair, and he's got this Southern American drawl, and he's this kind of suave, blasé detective. He's very funny. And they're kind of a tribute to Agatha Christie mysteries. So there's always, a lot of red herring characters. There's always a very convoluted, seemingly impossible murder or plot. And there's Benoit Blanc comes in and kind of interviews all the suspects, and shenanigans ensue. So this particular one, Wake Up Dead Man, sees Josh O'Connor playing a young priest who has misbehaved and gets sent to this tiny, sleepy hamlet in somewhere that could be anywhere, East Coast, upstate, Hudson Valley, kind of leafy, well-to-do area, and he gets sent to this parish run by the very eccentric Monsignor Jefferson Wicks, played by Jeff Bridges, who is a completely unsavory character. Dodgy, impossible murder ensues, and everyone in the village is weird or has a secret or is very eccentric, and it's up to the young father to try and solve the mystery with the aid of Benoit Blanc. It's hijinks, it's very eccentric characters that are all slightly stereotyped, but he writes characters well enough that they all actually have some depth and you do actually emotionally attach to them, which I think is one of Rian Johnson's talents. He directed it and I believe wrote it. It's the most English feeling of the three. There's definitely, I think because of where it's set in a parish church. It's set in a very leafy New Englandy type setting. It just has that it's Josh O'Connor, even though he's playing an American, he's that face. I don't know, it just feels the most Agatha Christie of all three of them, which to me is all of the charm of it. It's got it's got just, as usual, incredible roster of actors. He really packs them in, Jeff Bridges, Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, oh my god, I'm gonna have to Jeremy Renner almost making fun of his own person, Andrew Scott also slightly making fun of his own persona, Kerry Washington. It's a stacked cast.
I'm
And
gonna say it's Josh Brolin, not Jeff Bridges.
sorry, Josh Brolin.
Only because he was in The Running Man as well, so I was like,
Josh Brolin. I don't know where I got Jeff Bridges from. Anyway, but it's also the murder is completely silly. I don't know. The script on this felt so snappy and sharp. They're all clever films, but I found the original Knives Out, I personally found a little slow. And the number two, I didn't massively buy the premise. They're all good, don't get me wrong, but the second I was like, all these billionaire conspiracy on an island, a lot of rich, it was funny for that. But the script is tight as hell. The jokes keep coming, like laughing all the way through. I don't know, there was an energy to it. I think Josh O'Connor owns this film. No disrespect to Benoit Blanc, but this is Josh's movie. He is funny. He does physical comedy very well. He's got love him, but he's got those ears, which I'm sorry. He's got an amusing face when he plays comedy, and he's got that boyish, it suited him so well to play it on paper, a bumbling priest who's not actually that bumbling. I don't know, it just all felt tighter, better constructed, and more energetic than the last. And I thought the twist was ridiculous in all the right ways. Like the plot twist at the end was completely surreal and batty and very clever. So yeah, I very, 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 very much loved it. And I was so surprised because the third in a franchise is often where it all goes horribly wrong. So well done, Ryan. So he's hat trick.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to expect because I've not seen the first two, and it wasn't something that I mean, I knew of the excitement around these films, but it wasn't something that was something I expected to enjoy. But I thoroughly loved this film. I thought, yes, Josh O'Connor is having a moment. He's having a year, 5 films. Like all of them supposedly quite lauded, but this one was yeah, it was a different way, it was a different acting performance. It was funny, the jokes were it was irreverent, it was amusing. The whole cast, as you mentioned, was just, I mean, just fantastic. And I didn't know what to expect other than, what I thought was going to be was going to be slightly silly and funny. But it was really entertaining and really good. And if the first or two films are anything like this one, I will definitely be catching them. It is a great film to like. It's a great popcorn film. It's a great film to see in the cinema. It's definitely go and make sure there's a big audience because
Yeah.
you're gonna have a really great time. We were in a really big audience at the London Film Festival, and it made it all the better to watch it with a group of people.
No, 100%. It's got I think that's that sort of whole culty thing about Knives Out is there are just moments, there's like trigger points that you expect, like when Benoit first makes his appearance and everyone claps.
Yeah.
Like there are so few movies where you get that energy, and that's the magic of seeing something in a cinema versus at home, is that everyone in the room is waiting for the same reveal, the same beats, the same recognizable and I just love that. And this had it in droves. Yeah.
Which is so exciting. It's exciting when you find these kinds of films that have this participation or energy and excitement around around a film. So I'm glad I got into the vibe while it was still in the cinema, so I didn't miss out. But highly recommend this film as a standalone as well.
Yeah, you don't need to have seen any of the others to get into this at all. It's its own movie. So yeah. And it's a good Christmas movie. I mean, for no other reason than the time of year it's coming out, but it's got all the vibes of, it's a good whodunit. What better time than at Christmas to have a popcorn whodunit?
Yeah, is it coming out in the States this week as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so obviously it makes sense that it's coming out this week in terms of in the US and also
And it's only being released in Landmark and Alamo Drafthouse cinemas. No other cinema chain in the US is getting it. Because it's Netflix. They're only putting it in enough cinema. Oh, this is the gossip of the week, as Rian Johnson's been having a very public meltdown over this. He's been writing public takedowns of Netflix for only releasing it in 2 cinema chains in the US.
But also Alamo Drafthouse is in like 5 cities. So I mean, I don't know. Landmark is quite a small chain. So that is really withholding the film to a great deal of people.
He is not happy.
As I would be as well. So down with Netflix on
it. On the other hand, people keep signing deals with Netflix who have a very clear non-theatrical release policy. So part of me, I know it's a choice between not having your film made at all. So I get it. I know why people work with Netflix. Guillermo would never have been able to make Frankenstein if Netflix hadn't given him the money, but I know that.
But didn't they basically bury? I mean, it's not even being promoted that much. So they're like burying films that are good. They're spending the money on them. They're promoting other films or other series in front of it, and then they're burying them. I don't understand what their policy is with that, and it makes me irate actually, having seen 4 Netflix films during the London Film Festival.
I know.
Which were good. So they shouldn't.
It seems odd because I think it will get a wider release in the UK.
It probably will.
I don't know. There'll be some logic that doesn't make any sense to me, but this happened with the Glass Onion. It was the same story. Whenever his last Knives Out came out, he went on a rampage, and then nothing happened. So I don't know.
That's incredible as well,
I would be
because it is
pissed as hell.
literally, if there's a time when people go out to the cinema, it is Thanksgiving, because you have that Friday and it's Black Friday, and
I'm
either
sure if it does
yeah.
well, they will do an immediate theater expansion. I mean, Netflix can't be that stupid. If they sell out every single Alamo Drafthouse the night it comes out, they will expand it. They can't.
Yeah, but you can't really tell from what Alamo, because Alamo's a completely different culture of people who go to it. It's like 5 cities. So yeah, so Austin and New York, like the film, that doesn't show you what the larger population of the States is going to do. It's very weird.
It is very weird.
Well, that leaves us on a negative note, which was a very positive review, and I will highly recommend Wake Up Dead Men in a cinema if you can get
cinema. Support your cinema.
I'm looking up all landmarks in the States around where I live in Florida now. But yeah, so check that film out, please, UK audiences in the cinema. It is fun, it is enjoyable, and we highly recommend it.
Hello and welcome back to Cinetopia Radio. Today we're here with the Queer East Festival director Yi Wang. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you just started your On the Road program across the UK. Specifically, you're coming to Edinburgh until the 11th of December at the Cameo and the Film House. And you had a very successful edition in London earlier on this year. Can you tell us more about it? How did it go?
Yeah, I think this year was definitely our biggest festival yet since we started in 2020. It is also our longest festival as well, that we had nearly 4 weeks run in London, working with 15 venues across the city. We had over 6,000 audience members joining us for the events, and of course that since 2023 Queer East started its transition to move beyond film screenings, but also incorporating different disciplines, art forms such as theater, dance, visual arts into a festival. So it is really exciting to see that the festival has grown so far. And I'm also really excited that we are able to bring some of the festival highlights to cities across the country. This is something that I have been advocating for a very long time. I feel that Queer screens all these very rarely seen queer cinema from East and Southeast Asia, and I really hope that we can share them with a wider audience. And so I'm really excited and very happy to be able to return to Edinburgh again this year, working with Cameo, our regular partners, but also being able to return to the newly reopened film house, which where we actually had our screenings there before they shut down 2 years ago. So I think it is very exciting, and I can't wait to meet audience in Edinburgh again.
We're very excited too, and we can wait to go to the screening. And you've been showcasing the LGBTQ plus cinema, live arts, and the moving image work from East and Southeast Asia and diaspora communities for, I think this was your 6th edition, right?
Yes.
And do you think that you managed to reach the original goals that you had when you started the festival?
Yeah, I would say so, and I would hope the audience feel the same way. When I first started, I didn't really think that the topic we are dealing with can reach such a wide range of audience and in such scale. Because as you know that queer cinema is already quite a marginalized topic within the film sector, and Asian cinema the same. And so queer Asian cinema is sort of the marginalized community within the marginalized community. And I I didn't really think that we will receive such great response from the audience and also from our partners as well, that we've growing year by year, that working with more and more partners, going to more and more cities across the UK. And I really feel that we facilitate and foster a space for the audience and for the public to join us for a conversation about what it means to be Asian and queer today. And it is also reflect through our film program as well, that we really try our best to not just showing contemporary queer cinema, but also dig into the archive to look those rarely seen archival film footage or film works that never been seen, never been shown in the UK before. So I think it is really encouraged to see that the audience response has been great so far, and I do hope like we can continue that, of course.
Mm-hmm. I'm really I hope so for you, because you've been doing an amazing job. I was reading about all your program, that you have quite a huge selection of different things, because you're not just doing screenings, but you're also doing like discussion panels, Q&As, networking events, also arts performances I saw.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what are the main focuses of this year program?
I think this year's program, we pay quite a lot of strong focus on sort of I would say that different perspectives of viewing queerness through different cultural lens. So you can see that we have a wide range of East and Southeast Asian queer cinemas that come from a lot of different countries, and I feel that each country has their own perspective and history and language of viewing queerness. And this is something that I really hope that our program can champion, to sort of bring all these different perspectives to the audience in the UK. And I feel that this year we pay a strong sort of focus on a lot of retrospective films and films that were not typically identified or recognized as queer films, but through the contemporary queer lens, we can then view the queerness within that film. For example, the film we will be showing at Cameo on Friday, 21st, Batch 81, which is quite a significant landmark film in the Filipino film history by a very renowned director, Mike De Leon. So this film was never been really seen as sort of a typical queer films, but the film showcased a lot of a very interesting look into the homoerotic, into the masculinity within the very specific cultural context. And I'm really excited that we are able to bring this film and incorporate into a queer film festival program, which I think like it's also something I find it really interesting within our program.
And I'm also quite interested about the Murmur of Youth screening. It's a Taiwanese coming of age drama. Um, about these two adolescent girls who are sharing quite a intimate relationship, and they are
Yeah.
sort of represented the essence of youth. Why did you choose this film to include in the program?
I would say that every year we try to bring these super sort of classic queer films from different Asian countries, and then Murmur of Youth has been one of the films that I really hope to bring to the festival. The film had its 2K restoration I think 2 years ago, so it's a perfect opportunity for us to bring this newly restored version of Murmur of Youth to the UK. And I sort of really like this film, that the way how it depicts this ambiguous sort of lesbian love in the film, because I think especially in like Taiwanese culture or in Chinese culture, that this subtle um and ambiguous desire between two girls has always been a very key topic within the filmmaking, within the queer filmmaking. And this film is sort of a great example of showcasing that kind of very different approach of depicting lesbian and homosexual desire. And the film actually won quite a lot of international awards back then. And that's why I think it will be a great opportunity to have audience to see this film again. And yeah, and also like sort of brings me to our another screening at Film House on 9th of December, which is a double bill of two Taiwanese films, Where Is My Love and Incidental Journey, by a very, very interesting, pioneering female filmmaker back in late 90s, early 2000s. So this film also showcased like this very interesting take on gay community and lesbian community through this double bill. And that is again sort of the films made in the same period with Murmur of Youth, but had very different takes on queer stories. So I'm really like happy that we are able to have these two film screenings all shed light on Taiwanese queer filmmaking in Edinburgh this time.
They seem very interesting, and I'm quite excited to go watch the film screenings this month. And if I'm correct, during your edition in London, you screen, or like the program includes more than 150 films. I'm quite curious about the process. How was the process to select the different films?
Yeah, so I think we have very sort of various ways of doing our program. So of course, like we do have the film submissions. So every year we take film submissions across the world, and we also mainly select films, especially feature films. Usually is selected by myself and also my colleagues. And the feature films, usually we sort of have our own network among the Asian filmmaking. So we usually had the opportunities to know what films are coming up, even they haven't been sort of circulate in the international festival circuit. And so that is sort of the main approach for us to selecting films. I think it is very interesting within the festival is we have these guest curatorial projects, which we invite curators across the world to submit their curatorial idea to us. And I find it, even for myself, as someone who has been immersed in the queer Asian film world for a while, I always amazed and surprised by the ideas and the films suggested by these curators that like really open my world of queer film in relation to Asian cultural context. So a lot of films came from the guest curators who join us every year and contribute their programs to us. And we also have a feature film curators lab, which is sort of a talent development project we run from last year. So we work with different emerging curators that are based in various cities across the country, and they join us to sort of have the 3 month long mentorship, which we provide sessions, workshops about Asian cinema, about queer cinema, about film curation, and they sort of watch the film submissions with us together, but they also feel have their own freedom to explore different films in their own sort of curatorial interest. So that sort of make us have quite a big pool of films to select, and hence like we sort of based on different situation, we decide what films to be programmed into the festival and create this festival in a, I would say, more collaborative way to shape our program together.
You've definitely done a massive work behind it, and with the on the road program, you're bringing the sort of the highlights of the program itself. What kind of sort of conversations do you hope you're gonna evoke in the Edinburgh audience after the screenings?
Yeah, I think we had a very exciting lineup within the in the Edinburgh, because I think this is one of the biggest sort of regional program we've produced since we started our on the road tour. So there are 7 films in total that will be shown in Edinburgh, both in Cameo and Film House. And I think I'm really excited about this program because the program literally sort of combined what I hope to do in the festival. So we had a very wide spectrum of film genres as well. So you can see we have this historical samurai action films. We also have very radical black and white experimental films made by Michio Okabe in the 60s in Japan, which is called Crazy Love. So it's a really interesting film that sort of a little bit similar to the film Funeral Parade of Roses, but of course this film is 1 year earlier than Funeral Parade of Roses. But it also have like essence of like a radical queerness within that film. And you will also see like more contemporary films like Benami, which is a Chinese film that won several major film awards across Asia last year. And Murmur of Youth, My Sunshine, Where Is My Love, Incidental Journey, these are all more like a fictional queer narrative films that give you different perspective of different queer communities, whether they are in Japan, in Taiwan, or in China. So I really hope like the program can give audience an overview of what it is, what it looks like to be queer and Asian in today's world, and also sort of an overview of the queer landscape across different countries in Asia. And I also hope this can be a doorway for audience who are interested in queer Asian cinema to explore more by themselves. And also probably I hope we can screen more films in Edinburgh in the future.
I think it will definitely like I like the fact that the program is so diverse, and especially for me that I'm not that I don't really know a lot about the queer East cinema in general, like the East and Southeast Asia cinema in general. So I'm quite excited to go to the different screenings because I feel that I can find a lot of diverse genres from different countries, old and like, contemporary movies. So I like the fact that you include in the program different like movies for all sorts of audience. So I think it will definitely work. And I'm quite curious about your background because you're the director, founder, and programmer of the Queer East Festival. But I was also reading that you're a creative producer for performative arts. So is that how did you start this passion of yours, and is that how you managed to combine the arts within the festival?
Yeah, so I actually didn't really have any film related experience before I started the festival back in 2020. So it was just quite a pure and naive idea of, oh, I want to show some East and Southeast Asian queer cinema in London. And so I literally just sort of started that by Googling how to show a film in a cinema. And original idea was like a very DIY, small scale, very community focused queer Asian cinema season. And but the idea and then the film program sort of generate quite a lot of interest among various cinemas and different partners as well. And I was lucky enough to secure some fundings to support the season. So it sort of then became a quite a large scale film festival, so to speak. But then pandemic happened, so the everything we had to cancel everything, but we managed, of course, to do some online screening, also some one-off in-person screenings, and it gave us a chance to taste the water to see how audience react to our film program, and it proved that audience do want to see these kind of films, and they are interesting. They are curious about queer Asian cinema. So it gave me the confidence of continue doing this. And also it was also because of pandemic. So when I was doing performing arts, I mainly support different English and European theater or dance companies to tour in Asia. But because of the pandemic, so there was no international traveling, there's no company touring, and it sort of disrupt my actual performing arts career in a way. But it also sort of unlocked a new opportunity for me to actually put myself into Queer East Festival and develop the festival into a bigger scale. And yeah, so that's sort of like it's my personal backgrounds. And of course, when the festival sort of come into a slightly stable situation, I also don't want the festival just being a film festival, because I think it will be a really great way to be able to use different art forms to share queer East and Southeast Asian cultures and arts with audience. So I just combine my originally sort of performing arts producer backgrounds into a festival, and then started inviting different dance and theater companies from Asia to be part of the festival. So this is why the festival now looks like a more sort of multidisciplinary festival than a traditional film festival.
That's amazing. I think that combining the different passions of yours in the festival makes it even more unique and effective. So definitely. And I was also reading that you're launching a curatorial magazine this
Yes.
autumn. Can you tell us
Yeah.
a bit more about that?
Yeah, so that is our new initiative of sort of focus on publication. And it started with our emerging critiques workshop last year, which we worked with 3 industry mentors and 6 participants who came on board and watching films during the festival and write about the films. Because I feel that the sort of the writings and criticism about East and Southeast Asian queer cinema is still quite under the radar in the UK. A lot of them probably due to language barriers, or also because of most of the films are not widely accessible for critics. So I just hope like to utilize the opportunities when we are showing this film in the festival and invite the writers to write about them. And it went really well last year, and we done it again this year. So I just think that sort of like not just doing this critiques workshop, but also gather these articles and publish into a magazine. So we had an open call earlier this year to collect different pieces from different writers across the world, and we are currently making it into a magazine, and to hope to give audience another layer and another tool to explore and understand East and Southeast Asian queerness through the writing forms.
I think that's amazing. When I was reading about the idea, I was quite excited about it because I'm also a writer. So
Easy.
I really like all, like, especially all the film criticism, all this kind of stuff. And I think that bringing this to the audience will be something extremely unique that will, yeah, as you said, bring a new perspective to them. And I want to ask you one last question. What's next for the Queer East Festival?
Yeah, so of course the on the road tour will be finishing in mid-December. So I think we still have another 5 cities to go until then, and it would be wonderful if the audience have other friends in different cities. Please do spread the word. And then we are currently, like what I mentioned, working on producing the magazine, which we hope to launch it in January next year. And people will be able to purchase the physical copies. We are also working hard in producing our program for next year as well. So if you want to know more about Queer East, please do follow us on social media at Queer East. There will be I think we actually have 3 opportunities that are currently open or about to open. So of course we are taking film submissions at the moment. If you are filmmakers making films about queer Asian topics, please do submit to us. We will be surely open our guest curatorial open call, which if you are creators or want to contribute a program to be part of Queer East, do watch that. And a new cohort of emerging critiques projects will be open for application soon as well. So yeah, so there are quite a lot of exciting projects are about to launch, and I'm sort of really happy and very exciting to be able.
You definitely have very exciting opportunities in front of you. So thank you so much. I want to remind the audience that the Queer East Festival will be screening in Edinburgh until the 11th of December at the Cameo and at the Film House. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I'm back, and I'm here with Richard Mowe from the French Film Festival UK. Richard, thank you so much for being here today.
It's a plaisir.
Thanks. So this is the 33rd edition, right, of the French Film Festival. Can you tell me a little bit about its history? You're one of the co-founders, correct?
Indeed. I mean, 33 years ago, the landscape for foreign language cinema in general and French cinema in particular was very different from what it is today. So, in fact, we saw fewer French films on release. We had access to fewer French films, not just French films, but generally foreign language films. And a colleague of mine who was a journalist at the time, Alan Hunter, we decided that really we saw a wealth of French cinema in festivals, and we thought, why should the British public be deprived of them all? And that was the raison d'etre of the festival coming into being. It was at a time when we had the European Summit of European leaders in Scotland, and it all seemed to be a very apposite moment because of all the we were high on the fact we were joining the European Union, and we decided it was a really optimistic moment to start a festival devoted to French language cinema in the UK. And just very briefly, the festival started between Edinburgh and Glasgow at the same time, because we always determined that if we went to the trouble of putting a festival together in Edinburgh, why not share it with Glasgow? And we did that, and the festival came into being. It was very, very successful in its first year. We had many fewer films. I think maybe there were about 10 or 12. This year we have about 60 different films in the festival. So the numbers have gone up, obviously. But the ethos of the festival remains the same. We're also determined, just as a bit of a sideline, that the festival shouldn't be just devoted to art house cinema. We should also have some of the commercial boulevard French films that you wouldn't normally see in the UK.
Great, wonderful. And I'm a Francophile myself, so I love your program every year. What continues to define the festival spirit for you, and what do you feel is distinctive about the 2025 edition this year?
I think this year, every festival programmer, director would tell you this, but I think it's one of the strongest lineups we've had for many a year, let's say. Therefore, it involves a lot of the big hitters, a lot of the films that were unveiled in the Cannes Film Festival, which is where we start our shopping trip for the French Film Festival every year. A lot of them, like that we saw in Cannes, have ended up in this year's festival, like Sirat. It's also this mixture. Talking of Sirat, it's obviously very much a Spanish file French film. We don't mind that at all. We like that mix. And that spirit of the festival, which also links into looking at cinema and French cinema in particular and how it has evolved. So we're very anxious to pay attention to the beginnings of cinema. Like we had a screening of Fantômas this year at the French Institute in Edinburgh, which was a fabulous evening, actually. We had a score that was specially composed for the occasion. It was the premiere of a score composed by two musicians for Fantômas. Yeah, so as luck would have it, came the announcement just as we were preparing the wonderful Fantômas event at the French Institute. The news came through that, in fact, Fantômas lives again in another incarnation. A new film is about to start shooting in Paris in January. It's going to be a very large budget, Euro budget film. And we have Guillaume Canet and Romain Duris starring in the new Fantômas, which will shoot in, as I say, in Paris, but probably won't be available until the end of the year. Who knows? Could be in next year's French Film Festival.
That's very exciting. So one of the big surprises this year is your inclusion of Richard Linklater's Nouvelle Vague, American famous filmmaker, one of my favorites, and also subject to us, one of my favorites. So how did this film come into play for the French Film Festival?
Yeah, it came into play rather early in the morning in May during the Cannes Film Festival, when I was watching Linklater's Nouvelle Vague, which was the subject of a great deal of speculation at the time, because it seems such an outrageously bonkers idea for an American filmmaker to make a movie about the icons of the Nouvelle Vague. Such a French subject, he doesn't speak any French, such such an incredible movement that has affected so much of the movie brats of the States, and himself included, as he will happily admit. And just as I watched this film, which was lovingly recreated in wonderful black and white photography with some wonderful actors who really do look alike. Jean-Paul Belmondo, Jean-Luc Godard, François Truffaut, all the rest. It was wonderful that as I watched this, the films exerted this wonderful power, this power of creation. There was so much about cinema that was so pioneering for its time, the 60s. It felt really the exuberance of the period comes out in the film. And it just seemed unnatural for this year's French Film Festival. But festival directors all over the world often spot films that they think they would really love to have in their festival. And it doesn't happen, of course. So we kept our options open for, as the months rolled by and as we got closer to the locking down of the French Film Festival program. And lo and behold, all the planets aligned for us. And the distributor who's going to distribute the film, it's on release in the UK from the 30th of January. The distributor Altitude said they would love to have Nouvelle Vague premiering in the French Film Festival. And they allowed us to have many, many screens of the film, including a screening at Filmhouse, which was the opening of the festival at Filmhouse. Obviously, after a gap of 2.5 years, it was wonderful to be back in the Filmhouse with a film that I know for a fact that Rod White, the chief programmer at the Filmhouse, was desperate to have as his opening film when the Filmhouse reopened. So we were delighted to be able to pay tribute to all those wonderful people at Filmhouse who helped in its recreation. And we gave them the present of Nouvelle Vague for their opening film in this year's French Film Festival. Filmhouse, it should be stressed, along with GFT, were one of the founding venues of the French Film Festival all those years ago.
Oh, that's wonderful. So another big film in your program this year, but also a big important French filmmaker for Edinburgh is Sylvain Chomet's A Magnificent Life. We had the opportunity to share Illusionist outside in Princess Street Gardens a few years ago, and I know that Sylvain Chomet is a very important person in the French Film Festival, a good friend of the festival. Tell me a little bit about this film and Sylvain Chomet's relationship to the festival.
Yeah, Sylvain continues to be a patron of the festival, so he's very closely aligned with us. When he came to make The Illusionist in Edinburgh, he was with us for about 5 years. He helped to bring a lot of very famous French filmmakers to Edinburgh during that period, to Scotland during that period as part of the festival. And when I again saw the film in Cannes, and sat down on a Cannes rooftop with Sylvain, he talked about the film which I'd just seen, and he talked about renewing his links with Edinburgh. We thought it was wonderful to be able to present the film in Edinburgh, where so many of his collaborators still live and work. And I think the film is a wonderful homage to Marcel Pagnol and his contribution to cinema, which was extensive. He was a man of literature first, he was a man of theatre second, but he was a man of cinema, and he was, in his own way, as pioneering and as groundbreaking as those Turks of the Nouvelle Vague, and in fact, in some ways, more so.
Yeah, absolutely. I caught it at the Cameo, and I learned a lot about Marcel Pagnol that I didn't know, which is right. This year's the 100th and 30th anniversary of his birth. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, indeed.
And you have a whole program around Marcel Pagnol as well, right?
Yes, we showed some of the black and white films from the 50s and 40s, including Topaz and La Femme du Boulanger. And we've also screened those two classics, which people will still storm into cinemas to see, Jeanne de Florette and Manon des Sources. So it was a delight to be able to mix all of that up together and use Sylvain Chome's film A Magnificent Life as a springboard to take a snapshot of Marcel Pagnol.
Wonderful. So any other, I mean, you mentioned Syrah a bit, which I think has got a lot of buzz during the festival circuit. It's original, it's kind of a road movie sci-fi film. Tell me a little bit about this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a groundbreaking film in its own way. It's already in the top of many critics' best films of the year lists. And it's highly original, highly visual, but also has an incredible soundscape. In fact, it's a film that you almost hear before you see it. It's directed by Oliver Lax, who's a Franco-Spanish director. And it's got people that lovers of French and Spanish movies will like Sergei Lopez, but also a whole cast of new faces as well. And it's a brilliant, as you say, apocalyptic extravaganza, an odyssey. And it's a film, one of these films where I think you've just got to sit back and let it ensnare you, let it waft over you. You won't be unmoved by it for sure. And it will probably stay with you for a good time after you've seen the film.
I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So there's so many films in your program, as it's a very thick program. But I also am quite impressed on that the amount of venues, all across the UK. So for people listening, or listening all across the UK, tell us a little bit about where it will be going, or any other highlights that we should know about.
Yeah, well, it is a very extensive program because, as I said earlier, I think that the festival started in 2 cities, and we're now in around about 42 different locations. We have screenings in Orkney, we have screenings as far south as Plymouth, and lots of stopovers in between, like most of Scotland's major cities are covered by the festival, but also small rural and coastal communities. That part of the program is very well supported by Film Hub Scotland. So we're pleased to be able to reach out to share the festival, because it's very important that, privileged as you and I are to live in Edinburgh with all its cultural assets, there are people who don't necessarily have access to all of that. And it's important to be able to bring the festival to them. So the chances are that wherever you live in the UK, you're within striking distance of the French Film Festival. And another part of the festival that's very important to us is its schools program. We're having free school screenings in, I think, the last count last count was about 200 or so schools all over the country. And these are pupils who would not normally be able to see French movies. Now, with the decline in language teaching in schools, it's very important to be able to offer something to try and counteract that. And teachers and pupils have responded so well to the program. So we've got a specially curated program of 4 films that are targeted at different age groups. And we also have screenings in cinemas where school groups come and watch films in cinemas, but they can also watch them in the classroom. So yes, the festival's in big cities, it's in Newcastle, it's in Bristol, it's in London, but it's also in tiny little villages like Comrie, where a packed house watched a classic Le Grand Chemin of French cinema were totally spellbound by it. You get all this wonderful feedback from the venues that we visit, and you really do feel that the festival itself is making a big impression on people who would not otherwise have access, even though we have all these platforms, even though we have so many different ways of watching cinema. There is something, as you know, and I'm sure you and I agree about this, is the collective experience of going to see a film is paramount, really. And it's that collective experience that will ensure that cinema will survive going forward, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way. It's a good thing to mention. I actually gave my TV away today, so I live too close to cinemas, and I'd rather be there. When you mentioned French lessons, it's just funny in your program you have the Gaumont, sort of celebration, and I remember studying French in college. A college in the U.S. is what we call university, and Le Dîner des Cons was one of the first films I feel like I learned my French from, which is in your program as well. So.
Indeed. It was a lovely film to be able to program because I, like you, remember seeing it possibly when it first came out and finding it pertinent, hilarious, and wonderful to watch with a whole a panoply of wonderful French actors, including some who came to the festival eventually. And it was part of our tribute to the Gaumont Studios, which I referenced earlier, because it's 130th anniversary of the founding of the Gaumont Studios, which began with Fantômas, which progressed through so many landmark films in French cinema, who continue to produce and innovate today with things like the Lupin series on Netflix and so on. So yeah, it was a good film to screen, and it sold out, of course. So that convinced us even more that we were on the right path.
Great. Well, Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. And I hope that everyone looks at your website to see the festival's continuing till part of December, correct?
Yeah, it goes right through until the 14th of December, partly because we're in so many different places, partly because we have so many films to present to people. One of the biggies that's still coming up, and which people are now beginning to fasten onto, is a film about Charles Aznavour. How French can you get for Charles Aznavour? But of course, he has very strong Armenian roots. Mm-hmm. And the screening of Monsieur Aznavour with Taha Ibrahim playing Aznavour is presented in collaboration with our friends at the Armenian Film Festival in London. So we're very pleased to have that as almost as a swan song for the whole festival.
Well, wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to the rest of the program, but also your 34th edition coming up next year.
So. My God, I'm thinking of it already.
Okay. Well,
thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and a big thank you to Yi for joining Veronica for the interview as well. And also, thank you, Mariana and Emma, for joining. Are you looking? I think we all mentioned we wanted to see Pillion on the big screen, but are there any other films that you're looking forward to in the coming weeks?
What's coming out? I don't even know.
I'm booked Sentimental Value for Boxing Day because I always see a film on Boxing Day. That's my tradition. I see a morning film and then go for a lunch. So although I've seen it, I want to see it again because it's incredible.
Oh, that sounds like a good solution, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to watching Stranger Things next week. That's kind of all I'm thinking about right now. So that's me. That's gonna be me for the next 2 months. Just Stranger
That's,
Things.
that's the last season, right?
Last
Is that
season.
it?
Yeah. The end of an era. That's me. And sentimental value. And Pillion. That's it.
Oh, Pillion, definitely.
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda?
Good. Well, I would just say there's a great deal of good stuff out right now in the world of indie cinema exhibition. So I'm looking forward to going to see a couple films at Leith Kino, which if you check out our Cinetopia Recommends, there's some great films coming out, including we're bringing back Kim's Video to on the 14th of December at Leith Kino. So that's our second Edinburgh screening for that documentary that we distributed across the UK. Also just a huge recommendation for Invisible Women's Mexican melodrama series that right now that they're having at the Film House. I saw one 1937 film, Nobody's Wife, last night, and it was delightful. And the intros are really great, and I think it's just it reminds you of the fact that like it's so good that the Film House is around, because we're getting to see films with like when they invite organizations like ours and others, and Invisible Women to show films you would never see otherwise. Check out their listings for those kinds of films, because they're really fantastic. So quite a lot of things like that, and also as Career East and whatnot. So check out the list that we have on our Cinetopia Recommends of all the films that are being shown from independent exhibitors. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about our Night Cleaners event, which will be on the 10th of December. We're sharing a 1975 experimental political cinema film, and actually bringing part of the collective together to talk about it. It's a really important film in experimental, political, reflexive documentary cinema, and it's having its 50th anniversary. So we're really happy to be happy to be sharing that. And we're also having our final networking for the year on the 4th of December. So if you want to network and get prepared for 2026, or just say hi to all your film colleagues one more time, you should come out to that as well. So that is us, and we're looking forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
The Cinetopia radio show and podcast is produced and edited by myself, Amanda Rogers, with original music by Rosano Cariello and sound mix by Hervé Girardin. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more of our work on cinetopia.co.uk.